The autumn rain tapped against the tall windows of Sofia Delgado's dance studio in downtown Seattle. She adjusted the temperature controls while watching the city lights blur through the water-streaked glass. Teaching tango had been her dream since childhood, and now, at 32, she had built a modest but respected studio that attracted students from across the Pacific Northwest. The evening's final appointment was unusual. When the booking came through her website, she noticed the name immediately: Nicholas Hartley. Everyone in Seattle knew that name. The tech entrepreneur had built one of the fastest-growing software companies in the region, and his face regularly appeared in business magazines. What would someone like him want with tango lessons? The arrival. At exactly 7 o'clock, her studio door opened. Nicholas Hartley stepped inside, and Sofia found herself momentarily speechless. He was taller than he appeared in photographs, with dark hair slightly damp from the rain, and intelligent brown eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. His charcoal suit was perfectly tailored, and she could tell from his confident posture that he was used to commanding boardrooms. "Miss Delgado, thank you for accommodating this late appointment," he said, extending his hand. His grip was firm but not overwhelming. "Please, call me Sofia," she replied, gesturing toward the main floor. "I have to admit, I'm curious. What brings you to my studio?" Nicholas removed his jacket, revealing a crisp white shirt. "I have a business trip to Argentina next month. There's a gala event where dancing is expected, and I'd rather not embarrass myself or my company." Sofia studied him carefully. She had heard similar explanations before, but something in his expression suggested there was more to the story. Tango isn't just about not embarrassing yourself. It's about connection, trust, and vulnerability. Are you prepared for that? The first lesson. He met her gaze without flinching. "I built a company from nothing in my garage. I think I can handle learning to dance." Sofia smiled slightly. Confidence is good, but tango requires something different. It requires letting go of control. She moved to the center of the polished wooden floor and gestured for him to join her. "Before we begin, tell me about your dancing experience." "I took ballroom lessons in college," Nicholas admitted, loosening his tie. "But that was 15 years ago. Since then, my life has been consumed by coding, meetings, and investor presentations." "Tango is nothing like ballroom dancing," Sofia explained, pressing play on her sound system. The melancholic notes of a classic tango filled the space. "There are no predetermined steps. Every dance is a conversation between two people, created in the moment." The first touch. She approached him and placed one hand on his shoulder. "The foundation is posture. Stand tall, but stay relaxed. Imagine a thread pulling you upward from the crown of your head." Nicholas adjusted his stance, and Sofia placed his right hand on her back. "Your hand stays here, firm but gentle. You're not pushing me, you're guiding me." When their bodies moved into the traditional tango embrace, Sofia felt the tension in his frame. He stood rigid, clearly uncomfortable with the closeness. "When was the last time you were this close to someone?" she asked softly. Nicholas hesitated. "Honestly, I can't remember. My life doesn't leave much room for personal connections." Sofia saw something flicker in his eyes, a loneliness that she recognized because she had felt it herself. "Then we'll start slowly. Tango can wait until you're ready." Finding the rhythm. Over the next 3 weeks, Nicholas became her most dedicated student. He arrived punctually every Tuesday and Thursday evening, trading his business suits for comfortable clothes and the leather dancing shoes he had purchased specifically for their lessons. "Tonight we're learning the ocho," Sofia announced as Nicholas changed his shoes. "It's one of the fundamental figures. My feet trace the shape of a figure 8 on the floor, but you control the movement through subtle guidance." She demonstrated the pattern, her body moving with fluid grace. Nicholas watched intently, the same focus he probably brought to analyzing business problems, now directed entirely at understanding the dance. The question behind the question. They moved into the embrace, and Sofia noticed how much more comfortable he had become with the closeness. His hands found their positions naturally now, and his body responded to the music without the initial stiffness.
"Why did you really come here?" Sofia asked, as they moved through a simple sequence. Nicholas was quiet for several steps. When he finally spoke, his voice was lower, more vulnerable. "My father died 6 months ago. He was a brilliant businessman, but he sacrificed everything for success. He missed my childhood, my mother's illness, every important moment. In his final weeks, he told me not to make the same mistakes." Sofia felt her breath catch. She continued moving with him, giving him space to continue. "He said that when he was young, before the company consumed him, he used to dance with my mother, tango specifically. He said those were the only times he felt truly alive, truly present. I want to understand what he meant." A shared understanding. They stopped moving, standing in the center of the floor with the music still playing around them. Sofia looked up at him and saw the raw honesty in his expression. "My grandmother taught me tango," she said quietly. "She came to America from Argentina with nothing but memories and hope. She said tango kept her soul alive when everything else seemed impossible. That's why I teach it, not just the steps, but the connection, the presence, the life it represents." Nicholas's hand, still resting on her back, pressed slightly firmer. "Then teach me that, not just how to move, but how to feel alive again." In that moment, Sofia realized this was not just another student. This was someone searching for the same thing she was, a way to find authentic connection in a world that had forgotten how to slow down and truly see another person. "We'll discover it together," she promised.
The Seattle rain had become a constant companion to their lessons. Sofia found herself looking forward to Tuesday and Thursday evenings in a way she had not anticipated. Nicholas had progressed remarkably, but it was not just his technical skill that impressed her. It was the way he listened, the way he absorbed not just the movements, but the philosophy behind them. On this particular Thursday, Sofia had prepared something different. She dimmed the studio lights slightly, creating an atmosphere that felt more intimate, more real. "Tonight, we are going to work on musicality," she announced as Nicholas entered, shaking raindrops from his coat. "You have mastered the basic figures, but tango is not about executing steps perfectly. It is about interpreting the music through movement." Nicholas set down his bag and changed into his dance shoes with practiced efficiency. "You are saying I have been too mechanical." "Not mechanical," Sofia corrected, selecting a track on her sound system. "Precise. But tango needs more than precision. It needs emotion." The dance of vulnerability. The haunting melody of a bandoneon filled the studio, slower and more melancholic than the pieces they had practiced with before. Sofia extended her hand, and Nicholas took it, pulling her into the embrace that now felt natural between them. "Close your eyes," Sofia instructed softly. "Stop thinking about the next step. Just feel the music. What does it tell you?" Nicholas stood still for a moment, his chest rising and falling with deep breaths. Sofia could feel the tension leaving his body as he surrendered to the sound. "It feels like longing," he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. "Like searching for something you lost but cannot quite remember." "Perfect," Sofia breathed. "Now move with that feeling." They began to dance, and Sofia immediately noticed the difference. Nicholas was not counting beats or planning sequences. He was responding to the music instinctively, his body communicating with hers in a way that transcended technique. His guidance became more subtle, more intuitive, and she found herself following him with complete trust. An unexpected confession. When the song ended, they remained in the embrace for several heartbeats longer than necessary. Sofia became acutely aware of how close they were, how his hand felt warm against her back, how his breath moved in sync with hers. "Sofia," Nicholas said, his voice rough with emotion, "I need to tell you something." She pulled back slightly to look at him, her heart suddenly racing. "What is it?" "The gala in Argentina," he began, then stopped. "There is no gala." Sofia felt her stomach drop. She stepped out of his arms, confusion and hurt flashing across her face. "What do you mean there is no gala?" Nicholas ran a hand through his hair, looking more uncertain than she had ever seen him.
There is a business trip, yes, but the gala is not the reason I came here. I lied because I did not know how else to explain why a man like me would suddenly want to learn tango. The truth revealed. Sofia crossed her arms, protecting herself instinctively. Then why did you come? Because I was dying inside, Nicholas said bluntly. After my father's death, I looked at my life and realized I had become exactly what he warned me not to be. I work 16 hours a day. I have not been on a date in 3 years. My apartment is just a place to sleep between meetings. I was successful by every measure except the ones that actually matter. He moved closer, but did not touch her. I remembered what my father said about tango, about how it made him feel alive. So I searched for the best instructor in Seattle, and I found you. But somewhere between learning the basic step and the ocho, this stopped being about finding myself and started being about finding you. Sofia felt her defenses wavering. She wanted to believe him, but the scars from her past relationship made trust difficult. Nicholas, you don't understand. 3 years ago, I was involved with someone from your world. He was a venture capitalist who said I was different from the women in his social circle. For 6 months, I believed we were building something real. She turned away, staring out at the rain-soaked street below. He would come to the studio, take private lessons, tell me how authentic and passionate I was. Then, one day, he stopped showing up. When I finally reached him, he said he was engaged to someone from his own background. I was just an adventure, a way to feel bohemian before settling into his predetermined life. Nicholas listened without interrupting, his expression pained. It nearly destroyed me, Sofia continued, her voice trembling. Not just the heartbreak, but the humiliation. People in the dance community talked. Some thought I had been foolish to believe someone like him could truly want someone like me. It took me 2 years to rebuild my confidence, my reputation, my belief that I deserved real love. She faced him again, tears glistening in her eyes. So you have to understand why I'm terrified right now, because what I feel when we dance together, what I feel when you look at me the way you're looking at me now, it's exactly what I felt before, and I cannot survive being wrong again. Nicholas closed the distance between them in 2 strides. He did not touch her, but his presence was overwhelming. I'm not him, Sofia. I'm not playing at anything. Yes, I have money and a company and all the trappings of success, but none of that means anything if I'm empty inside. His voice was fierce with conviction. You have taught me more in these few weeks than I learned in 15 years of building a business. You have taught me how to be present, how to listen not just with my ears, but with my entire body, how to connect with another human being without walls or strategies or negotiations. Challenge me, Sofia said suddenly, her chin.
Tuesday evening arrived with an unusual intensity. Dark clouds gathered over Seattle, promising a storm that weather forecasters had been warning about all day. Sofia arrived at her studio early, her mind restless and her heart uncertain. The past few days since Thursday's revelation had been filled with long phone conversations with Nicholas that stretched late into the night, talking about everything from childhood memories to dreams they had abandoned along the way. She changed into a deep red dress that moved beautifully with every step, something she rarely wore for regular lessons. Tonight felt different. Tonight felt like a turning point, though she could not quite explain why. Nicholas arrived precisely on time, but he looked different. Instead of his usual business attire, he wore dark jeans and a simple black shirt. His hair was slightly disheveled, as if he had been running his hands through it nervously. In his hands, he carried a single white rose. "For you," he said simply, offering the flower. "My mother used to say that white roses represent new beginnings." Sofia took the rose, inhaling its delicate fragrance. "Your mother had good taste." Unspoken questions. They stood in the center of the studio, the tension between them palpable. Outside, the first drops of rain began to fall, tapping gently against the glass before building into a steady rhythm. "I have been thinking about what you said," Nicholas began, his voice serious. "About taking this slowly, about being honest. I want you to know that I have never done anything like this before." Sofia tilted her head questioningly. "Like what?"
Let myself feel something without analyzing it to death first, he admitted with a self-deprecating smile. In business, every decision is calculated, risk versus reward, projections and contingencies. But with you, I cannot calculate anything. I just feel, and it is both terrifying and exhilarating. Sofia moved closer, her hand reaching out to touch his chest lightly. That is what Tango teaches us. Sometimes the most important things in life cannot be planned or controlled. They can only be experienced. She walked to her sound system and selected a song she had been saving, a powerful tango that built slowly from whisper to storm. Tonight, I want to teach you the most important lesson, not a step or a technique, but a principle. Entrega. Entrega, Nicholas repeated, his accent making the Spanish word sound foreign on his tongue. What does it mean? Surrender, Plan Lori translated. Complete and total surrender to the dance, to your partner, to the moment. It means dancing without fear of judgment or failure. It means trusting so completely that you become one with the music and with each other. Thunder rumbled in the distance as Sofia extended her hand. Are you ready for that? Nicholas looked at her hand for a long moment, understanding that this was about more than dancing. This was about whether he was truly ready to open himself completely, to risk everything for the possibility of real connection. He took her hand. Yes. The dance began. They came together in the embrace, and immediately Sofia felt the difference. Nicholas was not holding anything back. His touch was confident but tender, his body aligned perfectly with hers, his attention completely focused on her and the music building around them. The dance began softly, and they moved with it, their steps measured and deliberate. Sofia closed her eyes, allowing herself to sink into the sensation of being led by someone who had learned not just the mechanics of dance, but its soul. Nicholas guided her through a series of ochos, then into a turn that brought them chest to chest, their faces so close that Sofia could feel the warmth of his breath. The music swelled, and he led her into more complex figures that they had never practiced together, improvising based on pure instinct and connection. Breaking through. Outside, the storm intensified. Rain lashed against the windows and lightning illuminated the studio in brilliant flashes. But inside, Sofia and Nicholas were lost in their own world, communicating through movement in ways that words could never capture. Nicholas spun her out and then pulled her back with such perfect timing that Sofia gasped. This was not the cautious businessman who had first walked through her door weeks ago. This was a man fully present, fully alive, dancing as if nothing else in the world mattered. The music reached its crescendo, and they moved with passionate intensity. Sofia felt tears streaming down her face, although she could not have said whether they were tears of joy or release, or simply the overwhelming emotion of the moment. The breaking point. Suddenly, Nicholas stopped dancing. They stood in the center of the floor, both breathing hard, the music still playing around them. His hands framed her face, his thumbs gently wiping away her tears. "I love you," he said, the words raw and unplanned. "I know it's too soon. I know we agreed to take this slowly, but I cannot dance with you like this and pretend that what I feel is anything less than love." Sofia's breath caught. Every warning voice in her head told her to be cautious, to protect herself, to remember the pain of before. But her heart, her body, her very soul recognized the truth in his words. "Nicholas," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I'm still afraid." He nodded gently. "I know, I'm afraid too. Loving someone means giving them the power to hurt you. But Sofia, I would rather risk that pain than spend another day pretending I don't feel this way." The music shifted into a slower, more melancholy melody. Sofia stepped back slightly, needing space, to think, to breathe, to make sense of the whirlwind of emotions inside her. 3 years ago, I promised myself I would never again let someone from your world break my heart. I built walls so high that no one could climb them. Then you walked through that door and somehow you found a way past every defense I had constructed." She looked up at him, her eyes fierce despite their wetness. "But here's what I need you to understand. I'm not a project you can complete or a problem you can solve. I'm not going to change who I am or compromise my dreams